Greetings from the far future. This is the Heroine, and I'm your host, the Hero Master. It has been an unbelievably shitty day, and so I figured I would rant, because that's what this fucking channel is for. It's for me to rant. So, why is it a shitty day? Well, my internet went down all day after having planned to do things with my favorite goblin last night, and then tonight it's not going to work out. So I don't even know what's going on. So I figured I would find one of those other things that just pisses me off in general to complain about. The first one that I found is that there are a whole lot of people who should know better, but who are idiots who are part of the, quote, new atheist movement. Now, if you're an atheist, I'm not saying you're an idiot. Far from it. I'm not actually even saying what I believe about such things. But what I am saying is that there are a lot of people who make shit up to complain about various religions. And the one I'm going to take aim at is Christianity. The one that, as someone who lives in the West, I see as the most misrepresented. Now look, I'm going to preface this with saying, if you want to criticize Christianity, there's a lot to criticize. And you don't have to make shit up. But if you think that the Council of Nicaea decided on what the canon of the Bible would be, or what books would be in the Bible, then you're a fucking moron. Go check with history. We have the actual minutes taken down by a secretary. It didn't even come up, and in fact, which books would be in the Bible wasn't decided on for several centuries later. It wasn't even at issue. And you're like, oh, but Emperor Constantine. Okay, look, here's the entire total of Emperor Constantine's contribution to the first Council of Nicaea, because by the way, there were 3. If you think there was a Council of Nicaea, you're as much of an idiot as someone who says, do you remember the World War? No, there were 2 of them. If you call any of them the World War, you're an idiot. Anyway, here's what the Emperor Constantine did. He said, hey dudes, let's stop fighting and have a council. Then he showed up at it. And he said, alright, let's start a council. And then, the only other thing he did was when someone got up and punched the guy who was defending himself at the council, he said, you have to go to jail. That's it. Oh, and by the way, that guy was St. Nicholas. Yes, Santa Claus. Anyway, then there was a vote, which the Emperor Constantine didn't get to vote on. And, yeah, he was like, I guess that's the decision. That's it. The actual discussion about the canon of the Bible, first of all, only the New Testament was ever really discussed up until modern times as part of the what should be in the canon. Up until very recent times, the Old Testament canon was just the Septuagint. And the only exception to that was that where Hebrew texts were around, in the form of the Masoretic text, which, by the way, post-dates many Septuagint manuscripts, then the Roman Church just kind of went with the Masoretic text for reasons, and then Protestants just kind of dropped the other text because they were lazy and didn't want to print them in their Bibles. Yeah, that basically sums it up. But as far as the New Testament goes, it took hundreds of years until that was actually settled, and it wasn't settled in a council. The actual first promulgation of the 27 books of the New Testament was issued by a pope as a Easter letter. It wasn't even like a definitive thing. He just was like, oh hey, these are the books. Happy Easter. Hooray. Yeah. So, stop making shit up. Another thing that bugs me is when people are like, oh, well, the Bible is a result of a translation of a translation of a translation. No, it's not. If you're looking at a modern translation of the Bible, it is a direct translation from one of the original languages to English. The only exceptions are translations of the Septuagint directly into English, in which case it's still a translation of Greek into English, and not a translation of Hebrew into Greek, into Latin, into, I don't fucking know, French, into English. No. The maximum number of translations in any edition of the Bible you're going to find is fucking 3. Now, does any of this lead credence to the Bible as a historical work or as evidence of God? No! No, it doesn't. I don't care how few times you've translated something. If I wrote a book in modern English claiming things about God, that wouldn't mean that it's more likely because it hasn't been translated. But holy shit, stop making fucking things up that don't make any sense. No historian is going to agree with you. And I say this as someone with a fucking history degree. Stop making up bullshit. And the same thing happens with other religions too. Now granted, the one I'm going to pick on here is Islam. And yeah, okay, no one's claiming that the Quran has been translated 18 times. But people say other stupid shit. Like I hear people saying, oh, Islam says that you should kill all of the unbelievers. No, it doesn't. That's not a thing. And that's just one of the small little things that I pick up about Islam. And look, I'm not going to be uncritical of Islam here. Islam is absolute shit tier religion. Period. But like, my god, people make shit up about it all the time. And the same thing is true for other religions. Just stop. Criticize religion honestly. One of the other areas I see people making shit up is people who agree with the criticisms of Christianity, and I put criticisms in a whole bunch of air quotes, presented by the Zeitgeist film and their solar theology gurus. You get ridiculous claims like, oh, Jesus is based on Horus, the Egyptian god. Why? Oh, well, because Horus had 12 disciples. Wrong. He didn't. He was once depicted in a piece of wall art with 12 people. That's it. That's the entire basis for that claim. Oh, but Horus was crucified or killed. No, he wasn't. He fucking wasn't. But then he came back 3 days later. No, he fucking didn't. Oh, but he was born on December 25th. No, there is no December 25th birthday celebration for Horus that you can find me. I defy you. Find it. It doesn't exist. Or how about this? The sun stays in the Southern Cross, a constellation of the Southern Hemisphere, for 3 days, centered around the winter solstice. No, it doesn't. The Southern Cross is far enough south that if that were the case, the entire Northern Hemisphere would be in darkness for more than 3 days, centered on the winter equinox. But you know what? If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you may have noticed that your winter solstice doesn't include 3 days of winter unless you're beyond the Arctic Circle. And since I know for a fact that most of the people who live in the Northern Hemisphere aren't beyond that point, it fucking doesn't. Contrarily, if that were the case and you lived in the Southern Hemisphere, which again most people don't, but even if you did and you were above the Antarctic Circle, you would have noticed, or actually even if you weren't, you would have noticed that summer always corresponds with at least 3 days of total daytime where the sun never sets. Except that isn't what fucking happens. This entire thing is just bullshit, and it pisses me off that people who are trying to criticize religions, and by the way, I'm a fan of criticizing religions, just make shit up. And I'm sorry, this isn't really what I'm pissed off about today, but I don't know what to rant about, and I have to rant about fucking something. Because everything has just fallen to shit today, and it's something I've been meaning to rant about for 5 or 6 years now? So, yeah, you're just getting the brunt of it. Anyway, that's all I've got for you. I just wanted to yell at a fucking microphone because that's basically all I have at this point. Yeah. In case you hadn't figured it out, I've been drinking a fair bit of rum. So, cheers. So if you like this thing, which you fucking didn't, but I don't care. If you liked it, hit like, hit subscribe, turn on the bell notifications, all that YouTube shit. So, I don't know. Say hi in the comments, or don't. Tell me I'm an asshole. I don't really care. I'm not here to make you like me. This is my off-topic channel of bullshit. Anyway, I'm the Hair Master. Just go away.